Imagine the world suddenly going silent. You don't hear the boom yet, you feel it. It's a wall of air moving faster than the speed of sound, hitting you before your eyes can even blink. Think about that for a second. In less time than it takes to register a thought, your entire reality has shifted from peace to pure, unadulterated chaos. Most people think it's the fire or the flying debris that gets you first. They're wrong. It's the invisible wall, the pressure. It's a physical force that treats your body like it's made of glass. Doctors call it the primary blast injury, but that sounds way too clinical, doesn't it? Let's call it what it really is: total biological override. And here is the terrifying part that nobody talks about until it is way too late. Your heart is a delicate pump, a masterpiece of electrical signals and rhythmic muscle contractions. But an explosion doesn't care about your rhythm. When that shockwave slams into your chest, it's like a giant invisible sledgehammer hitting a drum. This isn't just about the impact, it's about the timing. If that pressure wave hits at the exact wrong millisecond of your heartbeat, your heart just stops, dead. It's called commotio cordis, and it's a glitch in the human operating system that turns a physical blow into a fatal electrical short circuit. But even if your heart keeps beating, the pressure causes a massive surge of adrenaline that makes your pulse skyrocket to levels your body can't handle. Your valves strain, your arteries stretch. It is a violent internal earthquake that leaves your cardiovascular system screaming for a reset. Now, let's talk about your brain, because this is where things get truly haunting. Your brain is essentially a soft, jelly-like organ floating in a bath of fluid inside a hard bone cage. When the explosion goes off, the pressure wave passes through your skull like it isn't even there. But the brain doesn't move as fast as the wave. It ripples, it sloshes, it undergoes something called cavitation, where tiny bubbles literally form and then collapse inside your gray matter. Imagine microscopic grenades going off inside your consciousness. This isn't like a concussion from a football game. This is different. The sheer velocity of the wave causes the brain to bounce off the interior of the skull, shearing the delicate connections between your neurons. You might look fine on the outside, but inside, the wiring is being torn apart. Wait, it gets worse. You see, the lungs are basically two giant bags of air, and physics hates air pockets during an explosion. The pressure wave compresses the air inside your chest so rapidly that your delicate alveoli, the tiny sacs that let you breathe, literally pop. It's like stepping on a bag of potato chips. This creates a terrifying condition where air bubbles are forced into your bloodstream. These bubbles, or air emboli, travel straight to your brain or your heart, acting like physical plugs in your plumbing. This is why some people survive the initial blast, stand up, take 3 steps, and then drop dead. Their system has been hijacked by its own oxygen. You think you're safe because you don't see any blood, but your internal map is being rewritten by high-pressure gas. It is absolutely terrifying. Here's the thing that doctors are actually warned about, and it's something you would never guess. The real killer isn't always the blast itself, but the vacuum that follows. After the high-pressure wave moves out, it leaves a pocket of nothingness behind it. Nature abhors a vacuum, so the air rushes back in with just as much violence as the initial explosion. This is the negative phase. It literally tries to pull your organs out of your body. It distends your eardrums until they burst and pulls the air right out of your lungs. Have you ever noticed how in movies everything just blows outward? That's only half the story. The world breathes in right after it breathes out, and that second breath is often the one that finishes the job. We'll get to the long-term scarring. Let's look deeper, down to the cellular level, because this is where the permanent damage hides. When your cells are subjected to that kind of intense physical stress,
They release a flood of proteins and chemicals that there aren't supposed to. Your body goes into a state of systemic inflammation that feels like a massive, invisible fever. Your mitochondria, the little powerhouses of your cells, start to malfunction. They stop producing energy and start producing waste. This chemical cascade can last for days, weeks, or even years after the event. Doctors call it the invisible wound for a reason. You can't see it on an X-ray, and you can't see it on a standard MRI, but the person who walked into that blast zone is not the same person who walked out. Their very chemistry has been fundamentally altered.
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, if I'm far enough away, I'm fine, right? Not necessarily. The acoustics of an explosion are a nightmare to predict. Sound waves can bounce off buildings, tunnel through alleys, and focus their energy in specific spots like a magnifying glass. You could be standing around a corner, thinking you're shielded, while the pressure wave wraps around the architecture and hits you with double the force. This is the bridge effect. It's why some people survive right next to the source, while others further away suffer catastrophic injuries. Your environment becomes a weapon against you. The very ground you stand on vibrates with such frequency that it can shatter the small bones in your feet before you even hear the noise. It is a total sensory and physical assault that defies every intuition you have. Actually, forget everything I said about the immediate physical pain. The most haunting part is what happens to your sense of time. When the brain experiences a traumatic blast, the neural pathways responsible for processing time get scrambled. Victims often report that the explosion felt like it lasted for minutes, or conversely, that hours passed in a single second. This isn't just a psychological trick, it's a physical breakdown of your brain's clock. This leads to a permanent state of hypervigilance, where your heart is always racing and your brain is always waiting for the next hit. You're stuck in a loop. Senior Logic wants you to understand that the warning from doctors isn't just about surviving the day. It's about the fact that your nervous system might never truly believe the explosion is over. The echoes live on. So why does this matter to you right now? Because we live in a world where we take our physical resilience for granted. We see explosions in movies and we think they're just loud noises and orange fireballs. But now you know the secret. You know that it's a surgical, atmospheric strike against your very biology. You know that your heart can be tricked into stopping and your brain can be turned into a site of microscopic demolition. If you feel like you've just learned a secret that changes how you look at the world, then you're exactly where you need to be. Only subscribe if you feel you have uncovered a layer of reality that most people are too afraid to look at. Senior Logic is here for those who want the truth. Most people are content staying in the dark. In the end, your body is a marvel of engineering, but it was never designed to survive the physics of a detonated star on Earth. The heart tries to keep rhythm, the brain tries to keep focus, and the lungs try to keep air, but the blast wave overrides it all. It is a reminder of how fragile we are and how much we rely on the invisible stability of the atmosphere around us. Next time you see a flash on a screen or hear a distant thunder, remember the invisible wall moving through the air. Remember the ripples in the brain and the pressure in the chest. Stay curious, stay sharp, and never forget that the most powerful forces in the universe are often the ones you can't even see until they've already changed you forever. That is the reality.